Okay, so for this part C, let's do some different things. Let's add some sounds. So when the player falls and squashes an enemy, let's have that be one sound. So let's see, that's under audio, and we'll just choose play a sound, and we'll have to bring this in. And so the squash sound, I think, will be this one. And we'll just use the defaults for volume and pitch. And then if the alien mask is not falling, that means the player collided with that slime. So then we're going to have a different type of sound, which is ouch. So back to audio. You can type in AU. Play a sound. There we are. Add another file. Here's ouch. Okay. Then let's see here. The coin. Collecting a coin. All of these ought to have a sound. So I'll do one of these. So other actions. This is probably the easiest way to go to audio. Play a sound. And then we're going to do coin. And then we're going to copy that. So let's see, right click and then hover here and do that. Same coin. I'm not going to have different coin sounds. I guess you could do that if you were really interested for games that had, similar sounds for similar, like, collectible things, gems, food. It doesn't have to be coins. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I wanted to add one other thing, and we'll put it here. So add an event. There we are. And so this is a key press. So a specific key called the space key, when that is the moment that it's pressed, not when it's held down. So in order to do that, you have to do this once thing, trigger once while true. So as you're holding that key, it's not going to treat this condition as happening except for the very first time. So you need to let go the space key before this triggers again. So let's do, this is what I was thinking of. Audio, play a sound, and jump. So it's kind of separate from the object that's doing the jumping, but I think this will be a good kind of main bit of code to have. Okay, so there's a coin. I'm going to go into this enemy. Whoops. I was going to jump on top. Yeah, so those are different sounds. And I don't have any sound for the fly. So the fly, I forgot about that. The fly is going to be the same thing as ouch here. Oh, this one. Yeah. So these sounds are okay. I mean, they're not exactly perfect. You could change one or two of them, but they're good placeholders because they all sound different. And then, so that the out sound is like a bit of a siren thing, which doesn't make sense if you're restarting so quickly. If the player would hold and there'd be a little dramatic scene, then it would make some sense. And I don't know if we'll have time for that, but um, we certainly can do that. Oh, and there's another thing there. Falling off. We want to copy that sound. There. Okay. Um, so those are sounds. I was thinking about having the end of the game be something like a ladder over here, where let's say you click on a button and then the ladder comes down and allows you to exit the level. So let's use a ladder tiled here. And actually, I'm going to want that to be 0. And what would this be? I don't know, 1630? 1610, I think. Okay, so that's kind of interesting, but I want to subtract a bunch from this. So, whoops, minus 450, that's too much. How about minus 280? That's perfect. So what I'm thinking is, when this goes down, let's say the avatar presses a button, the ladder goes down a bit, and then the player can go, let's say, from here to jump on the ladder and then get out of the level. So we'll just make this up here. So let's make a button. Well, and then we'll do pressed here. So that looks good. Put it here. Oh, I need to turn that grid on, I think. So with when the alien is going to let's actually make a section for this. Call it the exit group. This goes in underneath to the side here. And so when the alien mask has a collision with the green button over here, so the next condition is checking the green button to make sure the animation is 0, so it is not a pressed button. So if that is 0, and we're going to change that animation to 1. Let's change that animation to 1. So the button will look pressed, and this is kind of important over here that the transition happens just once because we're going to play another audio sound. Let's see, for audio is here. Play a sound, and we'll look for button, and when you get button there, open that up, and so for testing purposes, let's make sure the button code is correct. We'll go over here. You could either drag or you could just delete that object there and put in, let's say, a bridge here and then an alien. I want this, let me zoom in. I want this to be standing. I hope that's standing. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that's good. So the action, when that happens, the ladder is going to go down a certain ways, I don't know, where y is a very small number, let's say a negative number. So rather than dragging that down, we'll do it from code. So let's first start that ladder moving. So there's a lot of potential for ladders out here. Let's just say the one on the far right, we're going to look for that one. So that is actually a ladder tiled, and then the x value of that, we said before, it's exactly equal to 1,610. So it's going to pick out that particular ladder tiled, and it'll be smart that when we say this one, this particular ladder that is tiled, we want it to start moving. Let's do, add a force that would be going down. So let's say 70 pixels per second, and so it's really important that there would be only one ladder on the far side that is in that position, and only one green button that is, I mean, this is, you could put in other green buttons, but maybe you would want to make another object. So that gets this moving, and to stop it, we find out where it is. So I'm just going to copy this, really. That particular ladder, let's find out if the Y position, let's go to ladder, and then we're going to look for that Y position. We could use 0. I don't know, maybe that's if it's, how about greater than or equal to 0? That might be going too far, but let's just try that. So the ladder will be, right up to the top of the screen. So under those conditions, then you're going to tell that particular ladder, which again, it will be smart, to just stop moving. And then the avatar, which will be an alien, will be climbing up that um, ladder to get to an invisible exit, just like if you have the avatar go above the screen and let's do that first. Have the alien mask where the position is, let's say above the screen would be less than or equal to 0. Sure. But we want it to be on the far right side of the screen over in this area. So we look for this avatar, which will be an alien mask. And this will be pretty extreme if we say it's greater than 1500. So that's, you know, potentially you could jump up there. So 1500, like this is x of 1196 there. So yeah, 1500 would be over here. I don't see how you could jump up. Let's see. Yeah, 1500 it's going to be up here. So that's too high to jump from either this area or that area. Again, I'm going to see if I can make that standing. Okay, looks close enough. So I think that under those conditions, you could go to the next level. We don't have another level, so we need some kind of special thing for the game. I think it's quit. Quit the game, and later on you can put in another level. So the only way the player can really get to this particular location is if all of this stuff has happened. So I think that's worth saving and testing. And you have to go up, and then we're going to exit the game going up. There it is. Perfect. Okay, so for this last step, we're going to create an alien with different animations, and we're going to, each step of the game, move it to where this alien mask is and hide the alien mask. Again, the purpose of this mask is to create a shape or mask that's a fixed size that doesn't change, that allows the platformer game engine code to work well without any kind of conflicts, that when you jump or stand or start moving, the height of that sprite work, artwork could change, and so this is a way to work around that. Okay, so what we want is to create a sprite. Let's call it alien. And we're going to make the first animation, let's call it as a standing one. We'll use names because it's a little bit more readable in the code. So this standing, you could have an idle animation where it has several frames of doing nothing at all, and then maybe breathing a little bit, like rising up and down with the chest. So something really subtle like that would be good. I'm going to use standing. I mean, there is a ready pose and a hurt pose, but we would need some more logic to get to that. So p3 underscore stand is that one. And then we have the jumping. This will be for both jumping and falling. You could actually separate those if you do your own artwork, but it's I mean that the switch between jumping and falling, rising and falling, is something where you wouldn't want to do much with the character, so it flows from one posture to the next. So yeah, there could be some subtle change, but we just have one for both jumping and falling. And then this one is going to be walking. I'll show you some things about this sprite animation area for when you have multiple frames of animation. There's 11 total frames here, which is kind of an unusual number, but that's a specific walk cycle. And so let's say I do the first two out of order. Let's say I accidentally put the second one here, and then the first one, whoops. P3 underscore walk 1. If this is what, when you hover here, you see walk 2, walk 3. If you drag then, suddenly they're in the normal order. And if you put in an extra one, you could click on that and then right click and just delete it. Okay, so I don't need to delete anything. You can also duplicate frames, but let's just go on this way. Okay, so I need P3 underscore walk 3. And with Windows, you could actually just type here P3 underscore walk 4. P3 underscore walk 5. P3 underscore walk 6. P3 underscore walk 7. P3 underscore walk 8. P3 underscore walk 9. And then you're going to have to get to this scroll bar tiny. There it is. So that one would be P3 underscore walk 10. P3 underscore walk 11. And if you made a mistake, you can certainly just not only hover here, but you could do a preview. I forgot to set this to be looping. Yeah, that looks correct. I'm going to try this at I don't know, 0.12. It will you'll have to see in the game how fast this piece of artwork is moving against the floor to see if that's right, but I think that's it. I mean, it could be faster, I'm not sure, but to make it faster, you can make this number smaller. Sure. Okay. Well, that's my guess for the animation speed. So we got standing, walking, standing, jumping, walking. And we'll do the code for that next. So we're going to add a group here. And that group is alien animation. Okay, so let's do a partial implementation here and then test it. So if the alien mask is either jumping or falling, we can make one for each. Why don't we do that? If it's falling, then this alien is going to change the name of the animation to jumping. So you have to spell this out exactly the same as you typed it in earlier. So it is case sensitive. So it's a little confusing because there's not a particularly, there's no difference with the artwork for jumping and falling. I'm going to copy and paste that with Command or Control C and V. And you can double click on this. And that's going to be going from falling to jumping. That's good. So then there's a question about what to do next. And so that depends on something about this alien mask. If it's on the floor, it's going to be either like you're standing, your alien character is standing there on the floor, or it's moving, walking. So let's do this. And here's where it's got what you would call a sub-event. So you create a new event and you drag that which is underneath this particular floor event thing. So now it's whether or not you're moving. For instance, if this alien mask is moving, sure, we can use that and say we're going to set that animation to walking. And if it's not, that means you double click all the way here at the little person and you invert this condition. So you're using negative logic. So if it's on the floor and simultaneously that alien mask object is not moving, that means your character is standing. Alright, so you've got the alien either walking or standing when he's on the floor. And of course jumping or falling, that assumes it is off the floor. So there's more complicated things that we could do if we added some logic, like if the character is hurt, or in the beginning of the game having something where the character is ready. But let's just use these three and save it and test it, and you'll see something kind of funny. Oh, I have to add it to the game. Let me back up here. Adding this alien just kind of, I don't know, here. Okay, so in order that these two things are combined, I mean, this is kind of cool. This shows you some kind of game mechanism where you could have NPCs in the game that you could control indirectly. So every step of the game, which we could do this first, why not? Every step means there's no condition here. What we're going to do is to change the position of this alien to where's the position here? So then I look for alien mask. And then this is something like you would, as if you're calling a function. You just type in X and there. I'm going to shift it a little bit because I've played around with this before and the artwork is going to be off to the side a little bit. And you can fine tune that. Maybe 11 would work better. Um, but this is pretty close. So inside of the alien mask, there's several different, where are we? Alien mask. There is a Y. So I think the Y is good, just as is. So this capital X, open paren, close paren, it kind of looks like a function. It's a member access function. It allows you to get access to one of the variables inside of that alien mask object. And as your character goes to the right, whenever you get this capital X value, it's just going to get larger and larger. So I think that's going to work. But what's missing here is something else which you don't have to, but I'm going to drag this to the top here. At the beginning of the scene. So I don't know, is this scene at the beginning of the scene? We're going to hide this alien mask. So this alien mask, it really does all the work for us, but we're going to hide it. So the character will be as if, meaning the alien artwork is going to be as if it's there. And so we've got walking, standing, and what's wrong is it's moonwalking backwards. I don't know, maybe the walking could be a little faster too. So what you do is after all of this decisions has been made, you're going to have to either flip the artwork or not flip the artwork. So let's look at when you press the left key. So KEY, any key is wrong. We want a specific key, right? The left, I said. So it's capital L, EFT. So it's one of those built-in key values. And when that is pressed, what you'll do is go to this alien artwork here, and you're going to flip the object that way, I believe. So we activate flipping. The thing is, you have to undo this, meaning when the right key is pressed, you've got to deactivate that flipping. So now if you go left and right, so that looks like, you know, you've won the game. Okay, so it doesn't matter where these two things are. I'm going to go over here. Whoop. It kind of makes sense to start them in the same area. And you've got the foundation of a platformer game. I'll give it a little test here. You know, actually at this point, I think I'm going to change that scoring system. Why not? Why don't we do this as, I don't know, 5, 10, 25, and you can put more coins in the game. So you can fill out any other things in the level. These whole things here are mainly for test purposes and making sure uh, stuff is working. I don't zoom in here. For me, I don't really want this. These don't hurt anything, but they don't really um, don't belong. Okay, then go ahead and test your game and make sure that you can get to the exit. Um, if you have any difficulties getting any part of this working, be sure to ask your instructor for help.